Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Jidong Atoll. In this episode, I start on the longly anticipated water park. This has a big wave pool in the middle, which is then flanked by 2 water slides and some other little water rides as well. Now, it was pretty difficult to create the whole thing, because it's something that I've never done before, and I don't think many people have really done before. It turned out to be more difficult than I anticipated, and so I basically created things, deleted them, created them again, deleted them, so on and so forth, which meant that there's less footage than normal, unfortunately. But that being said, I'm still really pleased with how it turned out. I think it looks really good. There's a few criticisms that I'm making of my own work, which I'll probably talk about at the end, but apart from that, I think it's awesome. I think it's pretty good. And as I was saying, it's kind of a novel idea, as far as I'm aware. I do use some inspiration from other YouTubers, such as Watercooler. If you've seen his work, I'd recommend checking it out. If not, it's very good in terms of the water slides that he builds. So anyway, this is probably going to be a shorter episode than normal, and yeah, I might talk a little bit about it at the end, but until then, I will leave you with a time lapse. Cheers, guys. Now, it's with great disappointment that I can confess that, unfortunately, I was a big fat idiot and I didn't press the record button. So I've lost a lot of work between what you just previously saw and what you're seeing now. I'll talk you through what I actually did. So I've excavated where the water rides are going, as you can see on both sides. There's a splash boat and there is a river rapids. Otherwise, I've made a start on the wave pool. So you can see this is kind of a mixture of 3 things. A bit of terrain, so kind of raising it up here and there and having water on different levels. Having these quarter blocks, which you can kind of see there, sort of like the water rushing back from the edge, as well as some waterfalls from the front, and also some like dynamic pieces that you can see are moving there. Basically, I'm trying to create this illusion that the waves are getting smaller as they refract out from the wave machine. So anyway, I'm going to leave you with a time lapse again, and I'll probably check back in just before I start working on the water slides.
talking in code, no reason. Why you got me on hold, I'm beeping. I knew something was ignited. When you left, I wanted more. All I wanna do is get to know you. East to west to north to south, the whole you. But I need direction, you get the message. Now don't you hit me with a rain check. I need something like a blank check. Spending a lot of emotion on tonight. Don't you hit me with a rain check. No need to make it a train wreck. Find me a time and decide soon. Cause I'll be on my way, but I don't wanna wait. My time is of the essence, don't you know? If you give me a day, believe me when I say that I could be the presence that you want. So tell me you got it right now, but you got all it right now. Tell me and you got it right now, now. Yeah, tell me and you got it right now, but you got all it right now. Tell me and you got it right now. If you like, then you and I can. Let me go, girl, I mean it, hasta la vista. You say you want it, but I don't really believe ya. I can't decode a woman like you. Time and again, you give me no clues. Don't want a little bit, a lot is what I came for. If I got nothing, at least you I can aim for. I need direction, you get the message. Don't you hit me with a rain check. Sign off on one of them blank checks. Don't wanna limit the moment of tonight. Don't you hit me with a rain check. No reason to cause a train wreck. Find me a time and decide soon. Cause I'll be on my way, but I don't wanna wait. My time is of the essence, don't you know? If you give me a day, believe me when I say that I could be the presence that you want. So tell me you got it right now, but you got all it right now. Tell me and you got it right now, now. Yeah, tell me and you got it right now, but you got all it right now. Tell me and you got it right now. If you like it, you and I can cut the bullshit and trigger pulling. If it's you and me, only sunny weather on the timeline. Only sunny weather on the timeline, and I'll be on my own. If you fail to find a reason to send it right now, just send it right now. I'll be on the way, but I don't wanna wait. My time is of the essence, don't you know? If you give me a day, believe me when I say I could be the presence that you want. So tell me and you got it right now, but you got all it right now. Tell me and you got it right now, now. Yeah, tell me and you got it right now, but you got all it right now. Tell me and you got it right now. If you like, then you and I should.
So guys, I just thought I'd bring it back down to real-time speed just for a moment and discuss what I've just created. So as you can see on the screen, the wave pool's pretty much done. I've put in this little boat ride where you change the ride type to people swimming, and I made it kind of like a labyrinth, so it looks like they're all swimming in different directions, which is quite cool. They're swimming between the waves as well, which I really like. On top of that, quite literally on top, I've put on 3 flying saucer rides. Now these are actually slightly elevated, and the reason for that is that even though I had the disabled clearance cheat on, it still wouldn't work if they're on the same level, and obviously I couldn't have them beneath, so I had to have them on top. So they are kind of floating in midair, but you can't really tell. I think the illusion works when you change the ride type to a haunted house, so there's no floor basically. And as you can see, I'm just working on this water ride, which I'm going to have 2 identical kind of symmetrical water rides. I played around this for quite a while, various different styles, but in the end I kind of chose this quite simple format where it follows down the hill either side of the actual mountain, and yeah, doesn't really get in the way of any rides, because I made one that was very technical and a bit too over the top and basically just covered up the other water rides, the splash boats and the river rapids. So anyway, I went for something a lot more simple in the end. And on top of that, I just decided to make this giant Aztec pyramid that sits on top of the mountain, just to add a bit more fun to it all. I haven't had anything else really Aztec to this area, but I might do in future episodes. So guys, I'm going to leave you with the time lapse again, and I'll check back in later. So guys, that's it for today's episode. I do apologise for the very broken footage. I know that there's been parts that I've missed out, but unfortunately just the way I did everything was so very illogical, meant that it was almost impossible to edit properly, so I have had to skip things here and there, I'm afraid. But on the whole, I'm really happy with what I've created. I think it looks really good. I did say at the start that I had some criticisms of myself, and they still stand. So I think just because of the way I've created this park so far, I've done everything in sections, and that's meant that this is quite a confined little area. It's quite tight, and I think if I was to do it again, I'd probably do it on much a grander scale, and perhaps even like one giant water park. So watch this space. But as I was just saying earlier, I might actually do a little bit more to this, so I would say that this isn't actually the finished article per se. I am planning on like an indoor swimming pool next to it with lots of rides going into that. So whilst that might be somewhat standalone in terms of water rides, they're not exactly done for this park. There will be more to come. So just before I go, I just want to quickly talk about what I've not spoken about already, which is the little monster that's between the two body slides. I think it's quite cool. It's just a bit of fun. I needed something to actually hide the queuing system, and I thought, yeah, why not? As well as that, I've built an entire bar area that sits above the changing rooms, just on the far side of the wave pool. I quite like it. I might edit that a little bit as well, but otherwise it's pretty good. So guys, I thought I'd just leave you with some footage to end the episode on, and I thought I'd give you a bit of a cutaway shot because I do know that this is very different from the rest of the park. It doesn't really blend in well, so you might appreciate it more if it was shown in isolation. I'm going to leave you with that now, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Thanks for watching, and cheers for all your support.